Welcome, Halo. I'm Anandasina Shakti, and I'm here as part of Halo's beautiful program for Navaratri, which is the festival of the goddess. And I like to call it Awakening the Goddess Inside and Out, because this is really what we want to embody. We want to understand that the visible experience of creation is the goddess energy. And every time I talk about this, it's so amazing. So talk about it yourself, because you'll find you go into an altered state. I go into a completely altered state of witness consciousness, of connecting deeper and deeper to the goddess. This is the goddess. This voice that you are hearing right now is the goddess speaking. My eyes that I'm looking at you and everything that I'm seeing is the goddess. You are the goddess. You are her manifestation, inside and out. And so in our limited states of consciousness and in our exalted states of awareness, this is all the goddess. And so you can understand why it is supremely important to have a harmonious relationship with the goddess, to understand how to connect to her principles with love and with harmony and with beauty and with grace. And because this is what you have to work with, this is what you have to experience in yourself and in everything. So in many, many of the spiritual paths here in India, I am streaming in from India, it's always like, for instance, I'm in Vrindavan, the home of Radha and Krishna, where they did all of the Rasa Leela and all of their wonderful stories. And you have to go to Radha to get to Krishna. Radha, you have to please Radha in this, in this idea, meaning that you need to have harmony with the world of form to authentically be able to experience supreme consciousness. One thing cannot come without the other. Supreme consciousness cannot exist without the manifested consciousness, and manifested consciousness cannot exist without supreme consciousness. But because it is the manifested or experiential consciousness that we can actually experience, it's the only thing we can experience. Everything we're having is an experience, so therefore we only experience the goddess. This is Sri Vidya. This is the idea that we see the goddess in everything. So because of that, then our smartest approach to life is to harmonize ourselves with that which is knowable and mysterious at the same time. And that is the goddess. And today begins the celebration of Saraswati. She is the goddess of knowledge. She is the goddess of higher teachings, all of the loftiest philosophical teachings. She is the goddess of all of the fine arts, of poetry, of dance, of music, of painting, of, that's this kind of art. She is the goddess of all of these arts. She is the sound of Om. She is the embodiment of Om. She is the one who gives us Sanskrit, the sacred speech. So she gives us what's called Vak, which means sacred speech. And in sacred speech, and it can be in Sanskrit, which we will be dealing with today, or it can be in other languages. It has something to do with intention in some languages and something to do with vibration in some languages. That's a bit of a study in itself. These languages and these intentions absolutely change reality. They help you in your experience of evolution. We are the goddess. We'll speak about the goddess in two primary forms of manifestation: light and sound. In her experience of light, we have everything that we can see. And we have, of course, her very, very sacred yantras. In her experience of sound, we have all the sounds, and we have the very, very sacred mantras, which are sacred sounds, and sometimes seed sounds that incorporate a huge pantheon of energetic expressions, just through one sound. So, light and sound is the manifestation of the manifested cosmos. And every time you are experiencing light, some kind of vision, some kind of something that you are seeing, or every time you are experiencing sound, you are experiencing the goddess. And the more and more you can hone your awareness on this, the more and more you will have harmony and joy and happiness in your life. So the goddess Saraswati inspires us to move into the lofty realms of consciousness. She gives us the doorway out of being completely identified with the world of form, which is a false identification, so therefore creates suffering. She shows us who we really are, that we are spirit, that we are supreme consciousness, that we are the oneness of creation. And she helps us create our seat in that world, so that everything else is what it should be, an experience rather than an identity. And a beautiful experience, even in its suffering, because there is wisdom, there is heart opening, there is much to gain through the experience of suffering. But when we are identified with it, then it is miserable for us, right? And it is binding and it limits us. But without identification, it educates us. The goddess Saraswati is the supreme goddess of discernment, to be able to tell the difference between what is real and what is unreal, what is permanent and what is temporary. And so she sits on the swan, and this represents this. Because the swan, the story is, although I have never seen it, that the swan, if you pour milk into water, that the swan can drink just the milk and leave the water behind. So the swan represents absolute discernment, or what we call in India, the swan is called Hamsa, and so if somebody becomes an enlightened being, which means that they have now embodied discernment. This is really what enlightenment is. We have different ideas about it, we make it extremely complex, but in some ways it's extremely simple. You know the difference between what is real and what is unreal, what is permanent, the supreme self, and what is temporary, the experiential self. This is enlightenment. Because when you know that, then you seat yourself in what is permanent and you don't cling on to what is temporary. This is enlightenment. And so a person who has achieved this state of consciousness in a very real way, a very seated way through all their selves, not just a transitory moment of it, but that it's their continual state of consciousness, they are called Paramam Hamsa. So like the supreme discernment, the supreme swan, like that can discern not just the milk from the water, but what is real and what is unreal, what is love, what is fear, what is permanent, what is transient. And these things, although they may seem simplistic to our human minds, they are actually the greatest stages of enlightenment that you can ever experience. And Saraswati Ma is the one who gives us this blessing. So today, welcome, we are going to do a few things. I'm going to first of all sing to you, because Saraswati is about the arts. I'm going to sing to you one of her shlokas, which is a blessing from Saraswati. And then we're going to do some pranayama, very specifically charged with her frequency. And then a beautiful joint artistic expression, which is going to be really, really fun. And so we'll get to that. We're going to be making some music together. And then we're going to very specific, full-on sadhana, so that you have your mantra for the next few days. Okay, thank you for joining. So we'll start off with the shloka. Please just enjoy. Yeah. Ya Brahma Chutta Shankara Ya Pravriti Deva Hai Sada Vandita Samampatu Saraswati Bhagavati Nishesha Jagya Paha Om Aim Shrim Hrim Saraswati Devi Namaha. Take a few deep breaths and just feel yourself breathing in the vibration of the blessing from Mother Saraswati. And become conscious of your breath because we're going to move into a very specific, very potent breathing technique from here. Draw the focus of your awareness to a beautiful crystal-like light at the eyebrow center, which is Saraswati Ma herself. Feel your own eyebrow center merging with hers, and her blessing of supreme consciousness and knowledge, of beauty, of art, of emancipation, of perfection, vibrating at the eyebrow center. And now we're going to practice an alternate nostril breath using mantra recitation internally, but I will speak it externally for us to get started, and then we'll continue in a silent way. Taking the first and second fingers to the eyebrow center and closing the right nostril. Inhale through the left with the internal recitation of Om. So inhale, Om. Close the left, exhale through the right. Aim, aim, aim. Breathe in through the right. Om. Closing the left. Exhale. Aim, aim, aim. That's one round. So I should explain, sorry I forgot, why we're using the sound Aim. This is Saraswati's Bija sound, her seed sound. In the sound of Aim, everything Saraswati exists. It's like the seed in the one seed in the apple, the whole tree, and all of the fruit live. So in Aim, everything about Saraswati exists. So on the inhale, internally, you will repeat Om, and on your exhale, internally you will repeat Aim, Aim, Aim. And I will make the sounds externally for us for a few rounds, and then I'll let us all go into silence with the breathing once it feels a little steady, okay? It's dry season here, it's super dry. Your voice just dries out in 2 seconds. Okay, fingers at the eyebrow center, closing right nostril, inhale. Om. Close left, open right. Aim, aim, aim. Inhale right. Om. Close right, open left. Aim, aim, aim. Inhale left. Om. Close left, open right. Aim, aim, aim. Inhale right. Om. Close right, open left. Aim, aim, aim. Inhale left. Om. Close left. Exhale right. Aim, aim, aim. Inhale right. Om. Close right. Exhale left. Aim, aim, aim. Now continue internally repeating the mantras on the inhale and exhale. Two more rounds. When you exhale the next time through your right nostril, then release your hand and breathe through both nostrils, each time repeating Om as the breath unites at the eyebrow center. Saraswati is Om. She is the one who gives us the sound of Om, a sound to express the primordial source of creation. As you continue to breathe through both nostrils, with the sound of Om merging at your eyebrow center, become aware of the energetic shifts in your system through the pranayama. Saraswati is the most subtle of all the goddesses. And so when we invoke her presence, we invoke a very subtle, very ethereal, very lofty kind of vibration. And so it requires a subtle gaze to feel its depth. And it teaches us that in every moment in time, even though we might be in a lot of rajas, a lot of activity, I know Halo has spoken to you about the gunas, we might be in great activity, we might be in tamas, more inertia, more heavy in that way. But this subtle energy is always with us as well, no matter what. And I'm going to read you a beautiful poem that expresses this. It's very short, by Khalil Gibran. And I feel that it really expresses the presence of Saraswati in each moment. So as you continue to breathe, this is called Prana Shuddhi, the breathing technique that you're doing right now. It's a tantric technique for purifying the prana in the mind and in the body. Saraswati, we're working most specifically with the mind, with our perceptions, because she is the queen of the highest perception. This poem is called The Life of the Soul. Awake or asleep, dreaming or in everyday life, the greater self is always living through us, leading us further in love's procession. I'm going to read it again. Awake or asleep, dreaming or in everyday life, the greater self is always living through us, leading us further into love's procession. The Supreme Self that Saraswati is the goddess of is always with us, and no matter how it looks in our life, she is always leading us in love's procession. These are some of the most important words that you could ever memorize in your life. It'll help you as you walk through the valley of the shadows, that beautiful passageway from the Bible. I shall not fear because I know that you're with me. And on personal and planetary ways, our whole experience right now is a walk through the valley of the shadows. It is a clearing out of that which has been hidden, that which has been dormant, that which has been unresolved, that which has been pockets of life force energy that have not been reabsorbed into love, so have not been able to really support our further goals, our highest purpose. But this is true beyond this particular dramatic time that we're in. This is always true. This is part of the archetype of being human. Awake or asleep, dreaming or in everyday life, the greater self is always living through us, leading us further in love's procession. Khalil Gibran. This is Vak Prashanti. This is Saraswati's voice that this instrument of the divine is speaking. Now you can let go of the breathing technique and rub the palms together. Place them cupped over your eyes and imagine in the palm of each hand the beautiful crystal that we invoked at the beginning of the practice. In the palm of each hand, purifying your perception, allowing it to become more and more elevated. And then open the eyes and release the hands. Now we're going to sing a song together. It's going to be really fun. So, you need to learn just a couple of easy bija mantras that you already know. Om, Aim, Shreem, Hreem, Om, primordial source of creation, Saraswati and everything else. Aim, specifically the personality of Saraswati. Shreem, the goddess energy that is full of cool beauty and unctuous richness, everything that is beautiful and sweet. Hreem, the goddess that is attractive and full of healing properties. I am going to be reciting names of Saraswati. We have many in English, so I'll say, her lotus eyes, then we'll go Om, Aim, Shreem, her beautiful, whatever, Om, Aim, Shreem. It's going to be so much fun. And I found a nice little track online that has tabla and has shruti, so we have a rhythm to work with. Okay, so we get to create a song. I used to do this kind of performance all the time with my band, Love Power, the band. We would do like 1,000, it would go on for, we're not going to do that, don't worry. Going for a very long time, but oh my God, the crescendo, we do 1,001 names of the goddess with the whole audience, because in Love Power, the band, we do interactive music. So not kirtan, but actually where the audience has a part of the music. And so they have to hold down the part. So the audience would be chanting these bijas back, and some singers on the stage would be chanting with them to help it go. And then the whole thing would like build. By the time you got to 1,000, you were like in unbelievable samadhis. It was amazing. So we're just going to do a little bit today, and I found something, online that is okay, but it's not the same as having a live band that can build it all up. So anyways, I hope you enjoy. I'm going to do both parts with you. So I will say her description in English, and then I will chant the Sanskrit with you. Your job is to chant the Sanskrit and to full on listen to the name. Just let the English is so important. If English is your first language, it's so important to do some of your spiritual practice in English, because you have a different kind of immediate comprehension. Even though Sanskrit is vibrational, so your system gets the vibration, but your mind doesn't get the comprehension in the same way. So bringing English in as like a mix-up is, I find, extremely important and helpful. So, can somebody give me like a heart or a thumbs up to let me know if you can actually hear this track that's playing now? Anybody can do it? I don't know, maybe I can't even see it because this is not my own page. I'm going to turn it up a bit. I hope it's just not going to be too loud. I know things sound differently through the cameras than they do in the live room. We'll start off with a few recitations of the mantra just to get the rhythm. Here we go. Om Aim Shreem Hreem. Om Aim Shreem Hreem. Om Aim Shreem Hreem. Om Aim Shreem Hreem. So I'm going to start to say the name. The goddess of knowledge. Om Aim Shreem Hreem, the supremely auspicious one. Om Aim Shreem Hreem, the one who envelops the universe with illusion. Om Aim Shreem Hreem, the merciful one who gives boons. Om Aim Shreem Hreem, the lotus-eyed one. Om Aim Shreem Hreem, the one with a lotus-like face. Om Aim Shreem Hreem, the one who is the sister of Lord Shiva. Om Aim Shreem Hreem, the one who holds a book in her hands. Om Aim Shreem Hreem, the one who shows the symbol of wisdom with her fingers. Om Aim Shreem Hreem, the one who is assumed different forms as desired. Om Aim Shreem Hreem, the one who gives all forms of knowledge. Om Aim Shreem Hreem, the one who destroys all suffering. Om Aim Shreem Hreem, the one who is adored by the gods. Om Aim Shreem Hreem, the one whose face is resplendent like the moon. Om Aim Shreem Hreem, the one who wears a crescent moon on her forehead. Om Aim Shrim Hrim, the ray of supreme light. Om Aim Shrim Hrim, the most charming one. Om Aim Shrim Hrim, the one with adorable ornaments. Om Aim Shrim Hrim, the goddess of speech. Om Aim Shrim Hrim, the most auspicious one. Om Aim Shrim Hrim, the one who is the embodiment of the earth. Om Aim Shrim Hrim, the personification of perfection. Om Aim Shrim Hrim, the consort of Brahma, the creator. Om Aim Shrim Hrim, the means to attaining wisdom. Om Aim Shrim Hrim, the one who is resplendent like lightning. Om Aim Shrim Hrim, the one who is sleepless. Om Aim Shrim Hrim, the one who distributes the fruits of all actions. Om Aim Shrim Hrim, the one with knowledge of past, present, and future. Om Aim Shrim Hrim, the one who is the soul of music. Om Aim Shrim Hrim, the one who is gentle and cheerful. Om Aim Shrim Hrim, the one who blesses us with beauty and luck. Om Aim Shrim Hrim, the one who is seated on a white lotus. Om Aim Shrim Hrim, the one who is the most dispassionate. Om Aim Shrim Hrim, the goddess who rules the empire made by the four heads of Lord Brahma. Om Aim Shrim Hrim, the one who is seated on a swan. Om Aim Shrim Hrim, the goddess who is the soul of the Holy Trinity, named Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Om Aim Shrim Hrim. Again. Om Aim Shrim Hrim. One more time. Om Aim Shrim Hrim. Swaha. Close the eyes and take a few deep breaths, circulating the prana of all of her names, the description of the goddess Saraswati, and the bija sounds, the bija mantras. Feel the circulation of energy through your whole being and then direct it to the crystal at the eyebrow center. Welcome if you're joining us. We are honoring the first day of the goddess worship, of the goddess Saraswati worship in Navaratri. She is the goddess of the supreme awareness, supreme knowledge, arts, sacred speech, all of the highest teachings, all of the mantras. And she is the manifestation and the gifter of the sound of Om. We are going to move from this sadhana into the sadhana with your yantra. If you have taken the yantra from Halo's page, you can place that in front of you. If not, no problem. We're going to use our imagination. If you know what the goddess Saraswati looks like, see her dressed in a white sari, sitting on a white swan, playing a veena, which is the instrument that existed before the sitar. It looks like the sitar, it's just slightly different. And we'll take our fingers into this mudra, where the middle and third finger are touching the thumb as we make our offering. Every time that we chant a mantra, we will make an offering either into the yantra or into our manifestation, our visual of Saraswati, or the yantra if you happen to know it off by heart. And we are offering, if you did bring something, because I know Halo often suggests that you bring flower petals or something. If you have your flower petals, please offer. If not, feel as if you are offering yourself, your own heart, into the goddess, so that you are merging with the goddess. You are calling her to you for your blessing, and you are offering to her, and the two of you are becoming one. The mantra that we're going to use is an extension of what we just used, so we're going to chant Om Aim Shreem Hreem Saraswati Devye Namaha. So Om Aim Shreem Hreem Saraswati Devye Namaha. So we're just adding her name, we're calling her the goddess, and we're saying Namaha, we bow to you. And I will post this in a written way on Halo's feed. I forgot to do that before, but it's a very simple one, so it shouldn't be too difficult. I will take one sip again, dry India. So either gazing at the yantra, and yantra gazing from the tantric perspective is done with eyes wide open, like extreme, with the intention not to blink. The intention to begin what's called the three rivers running: the eyes, the nose, and even drooling out of the mouth. Very charming, right? But these three rivers, when they start to flow, are washing away the karmic impressions, because we're keeping the eyes open. This is about perception, and whatever perception is a false perception will start to come up into the eyes. It will start to sting a little bit. It will start to make the eyes water. Painful perceptions, and the water and the flowing. So don't worry if the nose is running a little bit, or if you even start to drool. This is considered very advanced. You'll find some tantrikas like this, almost frozen. They've been like this for so long because they've mastered this. Drooling and snotting and eyes watering. So now you are going to need to blink. You are going to need to take a little rest. We'll make a number of recitations of this, so do not strain your eyes in any way. Just take it to the edge each time and then give it a little blink and open it again when you can. But don't force, okay? And especially if you've had any recent eye surgery, don't force at all. Or if you have any concerns about your eyes, any eye diseases, anything like that, unless you have the go-ahead from the doctor to do something like this, please don't do it until you do have the go-ahead. Otherwise, if the eyes are in normal condition, then you can go ahead and push it a little bit, just to your level of comfort, and then let yourself blink and reopen. Your eyes might sting in 1 second, or it may take some time, so there's no predicting, and there's even no predicting from one day to the other. But just understand, the watering is it's called the three rivers: the eyes, the nose, the mouth, is washing away the karma. Here we go. If you do not have the yantra, then you can close your eyes and focus either on the crystal at the eyebrow center or on the visual of Saraswati as you wish, and just keep on offering. No matter what you're seeing, you are offering your heart to her. Om Aim Shreem Hreem Saraswati Devye Namaha. Swaha. That's the offering. Om Aim Shrim Hrim Saraswati Devye Namaha. Swaha. 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 Om Aim Shrim Saraswati Deve Namaha. Swaha. Om Aim Shrim Hrim 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 Saraswati Deve Namaha. Swaha. Keeping the eyes closed now, bringing the hands into Gyan Mudra, the thumb and the first fingers touching and the hands resting on the knees. This is the symbol of wisdom. And it draws the prana, the inner Shakti, to the eyebrow center. Take a few deep breaths, collecting and circulating the prana from all of the practice so far of the goddess Saraswati and direct it into the crystal eyebrow center. And see a beautiful beam of light going on a 45-degree angle out into the infinite. And Saraswati is on this beam of light. There is no end to this light, and yet she seems to be the holder of the end, and yet it is an infinite reality she is expressing and sharing. She has one hand up, removing your fear, and one hand pointing down, offering you the blessings that you need to move forward gracefully, in peace and in love, in freedom and in truth, for she is the goddess of truth. She shows us what is real and what is unreal. And when we know this, there is no fight. There can be no war that is about truth. For truth is imperishable. It cannot be stolen, it cannot be lost, and it cannot be damaged. Any war that exists, any battle, is about the illusion. And now see from Saraswati's third eye an absolutely infinite ray of light that shoots out of her third eye, but creates a magnificent, like a sun around her with beams shooting out. And these lights that are shooting out are going to the third eyes of all of humanity. And let's take it into all realms, so sentient and non-sentient beings, the beings that are no longer in form but still identified with the human experience. She is penetrating into the third eye, blessing them into the true state of Shanti, the state of Shanti that comes from knowledge, that comes from truth, that comes from identifying ourselves with what is real and understanding that what is real is imperishable. And so therefore, there is no battle required to protect it or save it. See this peace and this love moving through all of the cells of your brain and your body, and imagine it going through all of humanity's a very deep cosmic upgrade. Lifting everybody. Maybe in some people a lot, maybe in some people just a little bit, but lifting everybody into less identification with false identity, with fear, with struggle, and into divine grace. Saraswati also truly represents grace, and the truth is, the real truth is grace is always with you. Grace is divinity itself. Awakening is effortless. This is a true reality. We just need to allow ourselves to open to it. We need to get the aspects of ourselves out of the way that do not believe that we deserve something that is our birthright, that do not believe that we deserve it to be easy and graceful. This is the true process of purification. Is understanding that's what we're moving out of the way. And so that understanding can take that karma deep from the roots. Now bring the hands together, dear sisters, dear friends. Place them cupped over your eyes, and now imagine the goddess Saraswati in the center of each palm, blessing your perception even further, to be elevated to your supreme self, to the knowing, the highest discernment, the knowing between what is real and what is unreal. And then open your eyes and look into these palms and remove them. And notice the different quality of your perception. Just by looking around, things will be looking differently. You will feel differently. Take notice of that. Awareness is your greatest friend. That which you can become aware of, whether it is a difficult experience. If it's difficult, then it allows you to change it. If it's something that's being, that's stopping you, it allows you to change it. And if it's something that's moving you forward, it allows you to move forward even more. Thank you so much for joining me. I will send the mantra on the feed, although it is quite simple, so I'm sure you know it by now. And 108 times is the magic number. Please enjoy the next days of sadhana, and please feel free to comment and ask questions. I will check in on Halo's page, and Halo and I will be back together for the Great Day of Victory, which comes 4 days from now, and we're going to have quite a beautiful celebration that day. Thank you so much, and I believe I saw Halo mentioning that we are welcoming donations if anybody feels called to donate to this beautiful organization in Varanasi that I personally have visited, that creates the most incredible, exquisite haven for the children of the human trafficking of the prostitutes, so that these children do not have to go through the normal experience of being beaten and raped by the mother's pimps and forced into the industry. They are allowed to take shelter in the schooling system that educates them. Speak about Saraswati education. Educates them in all of the subjects only using the fine arts and the yogic arts. It's amazing. And these children, I'll cry when I speak about it, but coming from like the kind of experience that they're coming from, I've seen them, they sit in meditation, poised for a half an hour, for an hour. Little children. Like it's mind-boggling. And the mothers are absolutely welcome. So it's not, but in most cases, the man who organizes, he says that they don't want to come. They're just deeply involved with their pimps and with all of that experience, but they are grateful that their children are having another opportunity. So, but they are welcome to come if they want shelter as well. Anyways, this organization is incredible, and they risk their lives over and over, and they go into like all these places where they hunt out and they rescue the girls, and their lives are being threatened all the time. They're just doing this very independently, and it's independently funded. They do not want to take funding from the government because that will restrict what it is that they're allowed to do. They have to then follow the very not adequate rules and laws around human trafficking. This way they're allowed to really bust certain things up, but they do take chances. So if you feel called to donate, we are taking donations to offer to these, offer to this. And also I produce one dress every year called the She Dress, which is to support this organization as well. And it's just always a very feminine but very practical gown that enhances the experience of love and beauty in the world for the way that it vibrates in the world, but also for the person that wears it. So I have on Facebook actually a page for that, so you might want to look it up as well if you're looking for clothes that do something else. It's called the She Dress, I think that's what it's called, the page. Okay, so much love and thank you for joining, and we will see you in 4 days, including today. So you've got 3 days of sadhana, including today, so you've got 2 more days of Saraswati, and then we come together for the big victory celebration. May Goddess's grace be always with you. And it is always with you. May you always know that. May we always know that. So much love.